It's rapper versus pop star, heiress versus actress, and sister versus sister. Behind the glitz and glamour of celebrity, beefs are bound to happen, but only one famous fight took it all the way to the mob. Grab a Cosmopolitan because you're gonna need a stiff drink.
Yes, I'd like a cheeseburger, please, large fries, and a Cosmopolitan.
Sure, New York City fashion, endless handsome suitors, and the sisterhood pictured on Sex and the City seem all hunky-dory, but the real story is that Sarah Jessica Parker and Kim Cattrall were anything but the close friends they portrayed on screen. The first whisperings of a feud between them began over salary disputes. Parker started executive producing the show in season 2, meaning her salary was significantly higher than Cattrall's. Rumor had it that Cattrall attempted unsuccessfully to negotiate a raise, leading to a rift between her and her co-stars. After being asked why she sat apart from them at the 2004 Emmy Awards, Cattrall allegedly told a reporter, "Are we the best of friends? No, we're professional actresses. We have our own separate lives." Tensions increased towards the end of the series when reports suggested that Cattrall and Parker were no longer on speaking terms.
Even through my Cosmopolitan haze, I knew I had gone too far.
Tabloids reported that Cattrall's refusal to sign on for a third installment of the Sex and the City movie franchise caused an even further divide. After years of back and forth in the press, the drama reached a head in 2018 when Parker commented on an Instagram post to offer Cattrall condolences after her brother's death. Cattrall's response: "I don't need your love and support at this tragic time." Back in 2004, Elton John famously took a shot at the Queen of Pop for lip-syncing. After receiving the award for Classic Songwriter at the Q Awards, the singer took a jab at Madonna and her ability to sing live in his acceptance speech. Madonna, best live act? Off. Since when has lip-syncing been live? I think everyone who lip-syncs on stage in public when you pay like 75 quid to see them should be shot. That's me off her Christmas card list, but do I give a toss? No. Madonna's spokesperson responded after the show, denying the lip-syncing claims and saying, "Elton remains on her Christmas card list whether he is nice or naughty." But John hasn't exactly let up over the years.
She's such a nightmare. Sorry, her career's over, and she looks like a fairground stripper.
Ahead of Madonna's 2012 Super Bowl halftime show performance, John went on Good Morning America to advise her,
"Make sure you lip sync good."
Madonna, however, has taken the criticism in stride. After beating John for Best Original Song at the 2012 Golden Globes, she said, "I hope he speaks to me for the next couple of years. He's known to get mad at me. He'll win another award. I don't feel bad." With all this back and forth, will these two frenemies ever really make peace? Janet Hubert may have played Will Smith's aunt on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but the bond between the two off-screen was non-existent. Fans speculated about a feud between the two when Hubert was replaced at the start of season 4, and rumor was that Smith had her fired after tensions rose between her and the actor.
Oh dear. Jeffrey, how on earth did they get a hold of all these stories?
Smith cleared the air in 1993, telling an Atlanta radio station that Hubert never liked him. Janet Hubert wanted the show to be the Aunt Viv of Bel-Air show. She said once, "I've been in the business for 10 years, and this snotty-nosed punk comes along and gets a show. No matter what, to her, I'm just the Antichrist." Nearly 2 decades later, Hubert still had hard feelings. She claimed Smith had expected her to suck up to him while filming, and blamed him for her exit. In 2011, Hubert told TMZ, "There will never be a reunion, as I will never do anything with an ass like Will Smith. He is still an egomaniac and has not grown up. This constant reunion thing will never ever happen in my lifetime, unless there is an apology," which he doesn't know the word. Of course, the reunion thing did happen in 2020, and apparently Smith does know the word.
We've said such hateful things about each other publicly. And I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
And I'm sorry too.
Frank Sinatra and Marlon Brando were some of the biggest names in Hollywood in the 1950s. Sinatra known for his voice and Brando for his acting. In 1955, the two joined forces for the musical Guys and Dolls, but ended up igniting a bitter feud on set. Their clashing personalities and giant egos got in the way of the film's behind-the-scenes work, even though the two only shared 3 scenes together. It boiled down to Sinatra's anger at Brando getting the lead role, and his inexperience in music rubbing Sinatra the wrong way. Resorting to name-calling, Sinatra dubbed Brando Mumbles, referring to his lack of musical talent. Brando took his revenge by sabotaging Sinatra's eating scenes to try and make his co-star sick on cheesecake.
You are sure I cannot offer you a piece of cheesecake or maybe a piece of strudel?
No thanks, I just ate.
The tensions rose to a point that production hired mediators to attempt to ease communication between the men. The rivalry got so intense that after his estranged wife was reportedly caught spending time in Brando's dressing room, Sinatra was rumored to have hired mobsters to abduct the actor. 3 men pulled a gun on Brando and threatened him before eventually dropping the traumatized actor back off in the Hollywood Hills. The two never stopped feuding, but at least Guys and Dolls went on to be a critically acclaimed success. Though they had been rumored to be beefing for years, the public drama between Cardi B and Nicki Minaj really began in 2017, when they were both featured on the Migos track Motorsport. It was said that Cardi was added to the track without Minaj's approval, and the two shot their scenes for the video separately. Cardi fanned the flames when she told Capital Extra that Minaj's final verse on the track was different from the one she heard before its release.
Her verse was in Finnish. Quavo told me to get on the song, and I just felt like it's a perfect opportunity.
Minaj responded to the claims in an interview on The Zane Lowe Show, saying, "I remember when I first came in the game. If a female of that stature had done a feature with me on it, I would only be singing their praises and saying thank you." She looked so aggravated and angry, and the only thing she said was, "Oh, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that verse." I was like, what? Though the rappers appeared to be in good spirits with each other at the 2018 Met Gala, that year's Fashion Week ended in a brawl between the two. According to TMZ, Cardi had attempted to resolve their beef, but after reportedly being elbowed in the face by Minaj's security detail, she threw her shoe in a fit of rage. That's right, tensions got so high between the two rappers that TMZ caught the WAP singer actually flinging her shoe at Minaj. While the two may never be friends, Minaj tweeted a call for positivity after the fight, which Cardi B reposted on Instagram. Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton had a friendship that was the epitome of tabloid culture in the early 2000s. Paparazzi staked out their every move as they clambered in the back of sports cars and capitalized on their party girl ways. Drama hit the fan in 2006 when Hilton's friend, Brandon Davis, blasted Lohan to the paparazzi, thus igniting a feud between the heiress and the actor. "I think she's worth about $7 million, which means she's really poor. It's disgusting. She lives in a motel." Hilton did little to defend her friend and laughed at the remark. Lohan fired back by making fun of Hilton's sex tape during an interview with Elle.
Do you remember that night?
No.
You don't?
No, I'm kidding.
Right.
After the media captured photos of Lohan, Hilton, and Britney Spears in a car together following the feud, fans speculated that the drama had been forgotten. But in 2018, Hilton told a different story to Andy Cohen on SiriusXM's Radio Andy radio show.
And she started chasing us.
Lindsay did.
And I didn't want to humiliate her in front of all the paparazzi and be like, "Get out of my car." So
right. You went along with it.
Yes.
The two socialites eventually reconciled by 2022.
We're grown-ups now. Right. We're not in high school. I think it was just very immature, and now everything is all good.
Elizabeth Taylor and Debbie Reynolds started as friends, with Reynolds following in Taylor's footsteps in the early days of her acting career. She once told People magazine, "I was in awe of going to school with Elizabeth Taylor, and if anyone said they weren't, then they were lying or blind." Reynolds tied the knot with Eddie Fisher in 1955, and the pair became close friends with Taylor and her then-husband Mike Todd. All that changed, however, when Todd died suddenly in a plane crash, leaving a grieving widow in his wake. Who was there to dry the tears? Well, Fisher, of course, who got close to Taylor after her loss. Just 1 month after Todd's death, Fisher separated from Reynolds and began a relationship with Taylor.
She loved life, and Elizabeth loved life, and I know because she took part of mine.
The news rocked Hollywood, but Reynolds seemed to take it in stride. She said, "A man doesn't leave a woman for another woman unless he wants to go." In the end, Fisher and Taylor divorced. Reynolds and her former frenemy got over their drama aboard a 1966 cruise they both happened to be guests on. Decades later, they were closer than ever. In 2001, they even co-starred in the comedy These Old Broads.
It all happened so long ago when we were so young.
I forgave you years ago.
No one can forget Kanye West interrupting Taylor Swift during her 2009 VMA acceptance speech. Though he later called Swift and she accepted the apology, their beef was far from over.
The whole crowd booing is a pretty formative experience.
The two were on good terms for years until West dropped the 2016 track Famous with the lyrics, "I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. Why? I made that famous." Though West claimed he asked Swift for permission, she had a different interpretation of events. While accepting her award for Album of the Year at the 2016 Grammy Awards, Taylor seemingly threw shade at West. "I want to say to all the young women out there are going to be people along the way who will try to undercut your success or take credit for your accomplishments or your fame." Kim Kardashian then got involved. She released video footage of a phone call between West and Swift in which Swift seemed to approve the lyrics beforehand. The video doesn't include West telling her the entirety of the lyrics, however. Swift hit back on Instagram, "Where's the video of Kanye telling me he was going to call me that bitch in a song? It doesn't exist because it never happened." While the trio may never be friends, Kardashian did spill on Watch What Happens Live in 2019 that she feels they've all moved on.
Still a beef with Taylor after all that went down? No, squash. Over it.
We were rivals long before we thought of being actresses.
Sometimes family bonds have the deepest wounds. Sisters Olivia de Havilland and Joan Fontaine's feud is no different. Older sister de Havilland got her start in the film industry first, snagging a role in A Midsummer Night's Dream at 18 years old. Fontaine wanted to follow in her sister's footsteps, but de Havilland only agreed to help her sister on one condition, that she change her last name. The sisters were constantly pinned against each other in the film industry. In 1942, they both received Oscar nominations in the same category, with Fontaine taking home the award for her role in Suspicion. It led to animosity between the two, with Fontaine later telling the Associated Press, "I felt Olivia would spring across the table and grab me by the hair. I felt age 4, being confronted by my older sister. Damn it, I'd incurred her wrath again."
It's a fair fight, isn't it, if it is a fight at all?
The end to their feud came with Fontaine's death in 2013, ultimately giving her older sister the last word. De Havilland told the Associated Press, "Dragon Lady, as I eventually decided to call her, was a brilliant, multi-talented person, but with an astigmatism in her perception of people and events, which often caused her to react in an unfair and even injurious way." De Havilland died in 2020 at the age of 104.